Well, this should be fun. Hello and welcome to the Knicks Film School Postgame Show presented by BetUS. My name is Andrew Claudio, aka GMAC. It is time to talk about the Knicks' loss to the Los Angeles Clippers, 105-95 at the new Intuit Dome, downtown Inglewood, I believe, is where that new building that used to be. I actually don't know if Dolan has an association with it. I know the Forum is a Dolan building. You could see me delaying talking about the basketball game, which was the beginning of life without Jaylen Brunson. For those just tuning in, I don't know why you're tuning into a post-game show and you don't know what happened to Jaylen Brunson. The evaluation or the diagnosis is that it's an ankle sprain. X-rays were negative. The severity of the ankle sprain is not yet known. I think all of us have done our Googles and paid attention to the sports medicine doctors online that have said if it's a grade 1 sprain, there's a chance it's a 2-week injury. And that's the official diagnosis. The Knicks will reevaluate him in 2 weeks. If it's a grade 2 sprain, we're talking a 3 to 6 week injury, and hopefully he's back for playoffs. And if it's a grade 3 sprain, curtains potentially on this player's season, this captain of ours, and potentially what the Knicks can do in the playoffs. Shout out to CP, the franchise, also went out there today and said that what he's hearing is that it's not, nothing's broken, nothing's what the report said, but that he's hearing that he could be back for playoffs. So maybe this is an OG Anunoby situation like last year where they get him back early April. The vacuum of this road trip and maybe even just this game is that the Knicks are going to have to figure out a way to win basketball games and not fall too far in the standings without their captain. And you saw the glaring hole that was the Knicks without Jaylen Brunson tonight in LA. This is a team that looked like they lost their best player less than 24 hours ago. This is a team that looked like they were learning how to play without Jaylen Brunson for the first real time this season. The shot distribution kind of dictates that. All 5 starters with at least 12 field goal attempts. I challenge anybody, if you can put it in the chat, I'll look. Has that happened this year? Have the Knicks had 5 starters in a regulation game take at least 12 field goal attempts? And that's really how they're going to have to do this. I have some grace for the situation in general. I'm not able to generate too much angst or anger for this game in particular. Did I think there were some things they could have done better, like shoot better? Probably. The Clippers hit some tough threes as well. Some generated open looks. Nick Batum, nice to see you. Turned into the play-in version of Nick Batum that eliminated the Heat, or I guess began to eliminate the Heat, and gave us that Knicks-Sixers matchup last year. Nick Batum with 17 points, 5 of 7 from 3, which was extremely frustrating. But yeah, it's a bulletin board. It's a front page headline: Knicks lose without Jaylen Brunson. And these next 2 days are going to be where Tom Thibodeau, who has taken a lot of arrows this year, is going to have to show how prepared a coach he is, because he's going to have to figure out over the next 2 days, over the next road trip, over the next couple weeks, how they can find some success without Jaylen Brunson. And tonight, you saw some good, you saw some bad. But yeah, this was a team that lost their best player 24 hours ago, and they certainly played like it. As far as individual performances in this game, or just the rhythm of this game, I should say, I actually start out with they got out to a 9-0 deficit, and I was wondering if this would be us doing trivia in the second half and potentially me going on in the middle of the third quarter to do a post game, because this team had, a silent quit on this team and on the season. And the reputation of this team, or at least this culture, an immediate 10-0 run to get back into it. This team took a 9-point lead at one point in the second quarter, and then a Clippers team that is not known for hitting threes ended up shooting 11 of 19 in the first half from 3. I think the annoying part, if you're emotionally reacting to this game, is then the regression came in that third quarter, where the Clippers only scored 19 points. There was a stretch of over 7 minutes where they didn't score, where they didn't hit a field goal, and the Knicks couldn't capitalize. The score was locked at like 78-72 for the majority. And then the fourth quarter came, and the Knicks kind of ran out of gas. Yeah, they're missing that primary hub that they can ignite their offense through. As far as individual performances go, I'll pivot to that. It's got to start with Cat, I guess. 8 of 21 from the field, 23 points, 10 rebounds. I thought there were times he was forcing it. That all the talk about the Josh Hart and the spacing issues that they've had, and you do still see them where if Cat drives and he's got a smaller guy on him, and like there was a moment where Zubac was playing in drop and Cat is driving and Batum comes over to help, and now Cat is taking a shot on two guys because they're ignoring Josh Hart, and Cat gets it's an inefficient shot and he gets defended well. Then on a different possession, Cat notices the double team, passes out. Josh Hart is reluctant to shoot, and Cat's yelling, "Shoot the ball!" Like this is what they're gonna have to get used to. And look, Josh Hart, it's tough to really attack him for this game. Guy played 46 minutes the night after playing 40 plus across town at the crypto.com arena in overtime. Guy finished at 14 points, 19 rebounds, 6 assists, was largely their initiator in the starting five. I did like that they ran some stuff from Mikal Bridges as well. Finishes with a very efficient 22 points on 12 shots, 8 of 12 from the field. Got to the line 6 times tonight. I'd be curious if the chat wants to tell me if Mikal Bridges, if that's his season high for free throw attempts in a game. But you really started to see it with the second unit that like he was cutting more. They were running some pistol sets for him, taking advantage of transition. This isn't just going to be play off of Jaylen Brunson and be opportunistic when you can. They're going to have to actually call some stuff for Mikal, and he's going to have to be aggressive, looking to get more involved. And I thought you saw that at points in this game. Look, it's tough to limit this to just 3-point shooting, but the Knicks went 9 of 34 from 3, and it's why I then have to go to Deuce McBride, who, look, I maintain he's not a point guard. He's a 2-guard and an undersized 2-guard at that. There were moments where you saw his size being taken advantage of, whether it be James Harden with Deuce guarding him or Kawhi Leonard with Deuce guarding him. Guy went 2 of 9 from 3 tonight. I like the 9 attempts. I don't like the 9 makes. Now, I'm not trying to single out Deuce. Anunoby also went 2 of 8 from 3. Cat went 2 of 7 from 3. Josh Hart went 1 of 4. Again, across the board, this team didn't hit their threes tonight. But if Deuce, in these moments, especially now that he's the starting point guard, probably for the next month or so, he's going to have a couple of these nights where he's just unconscious to create an advantage, and more importantly, give them an opportunity to win without their captain. The precious minutes I didn't hate. I know that he's been an ire of a lot of fans, for myself included, over the last couple of weeks. That's more how he's used. I don't think he's a starting power forward. I think he's an emergency backup center, and with the Knicks shorthanded and no Mitchell Robinson on the second night of a back-to-back, I thought he played very good. He was a +3 in 16 minutes, 9 points, and good moves off the dribble. They had some moments where him at the top of the key or the free throw line, and he's finding guys cutting back door, those pig sets, or blind pig sets, I should say. I thought Precious Achiuwa played well. I thought Landry Shamet in 17 minutes, good first half, not so great second half. Him and the champagne minutes really do boil down to, are they hitting shots? They were hitting them in the first half or generating good offense in the first half. It's how the Knicks built their lead. And then in the second half, where it's funny, all the talk about how many minutes the starters have played this year, and yet I was like, get the starters back in at a certain point. They only played 5 minutes in the second half. They were a -7. The fourth quarter, I should say, because they were down 1 going into the fourth quarter. And then that stretch to start the fourth, where the Champagne team, or duo, I should say, that lineup was a -7, about 5.5 minutes. And by the time the starters came back in, you're down 8, you're trying to find some offense, and just the Knicks, 17 fourth quarter points. They did not have one. Again, we're going to be saying this a lot over the next couple weeks. They didn't have Jaylen Brunson, and it was tough to find consistent offense when You're missing that, especially when you're trying to come back in a game. And the one way they'll be able to generate offense is obviously hitting their threes. And when you're not hitting that, it's curtains. So, look, this is going to take some processing from, I think, a lot of us, that these next, at least this road trip to start, and then we'll reevaluate. I guess 2 weeks from Thursday is not the end of the road trip. It's the end of the first couple games after the road trip. If you're looking for any type of silver lining contextually, the schedule does get somewhat easier after they get back from this West Coast trip. If you're looking ahead to the home stretch or the schedule when they get back, they do come home and play Miami on Monday the 17th. Then they go out to San Antonio, out to Charlotte, and then it's Washington and Dallas. Those 5 games with Brunson, I was thinking could be a winning streak. Without him, you're hoping you get to that stretch. You're not fighting for the 4 or 5 seed at that point. Like the game I'm circling on the calendar is May 28th against Milwaukee, because there's a world where that's a battle for the 3 seed with what the Knicks are, with how well Milwaukee's played since Kuzma, with what the status of Jaylen Brunson might be. And it'll be interesting to see how much this organization prioritizes being the 3 seed or having home court in the first round. Because if Brunson's not 100% by that stretch, I would be more inclined to leave him out, to not force him to return. But I also recognize who's the head coach, who Jaylen Brunson is, and how this organization is operated. That if you're healthy, you play. If you're healthy enough, I should say, you play. That's really all I got about this game. Look, the Clippers hit a ton of threes when they're not a team that normally hits a ton of threes. You know, this is a Clippers team that came into this game 16th. In fact, I have my pregame pod notes right in front of me. They came into this game 19th in offensive rating. They didn't have a great offensive rating today. 107, I believe. 108. That's not a great offensive rating. We're one of the worst in the league. The Knicks had a 97.9 offensive rating, which would be the worst offense in the league, which goes to the Clippers being the 4th ranked defense, which I wasn't fully intimidated by their defense tonight. I think the Knicks win, and maybe even win by a lot with Jaylen Brunson, but you do see their deflections being a thing, Zubac mucking things up when they're in help, that being a thing as well. I thought they looked like a very beatable 6 or 7 seed, like 7 or 8 seed even. And when you're the Knicks and you're operating with the roster you have right now, look probably like a very beatable 6 or 7 seed. So, we'll see what the next couple weeks look like. James Harden had I was interested to see how he would play tonight. It was very clear early on that the numbers of he's shooting under 40% for the season, and around 33% from 3. And that checks out. Like very early on, first quarter, the crunch time offense we hate of 4 guys stand around and watch Brunson, that's what they run with James Harden. Now he has the court vision to find shooters. Some of the collapses and the flare double teams that the Tibbs was calling out were leading to open shots. It's how Nick Batum gets 5 threes. But Harden goes 7 of 20 from the field. You live with that. You don't love the 5 of 12 from 3. But if it's just the James Harden show, you probably have a chance to win. It's then when Nick Batum, again, has 17 points on 9 shots. It's when Bojan Bogdanovic, who didn't shoot the ball well, but has 12 rebounds in this game. I said Bojan. This is Bogdan who did this for the Clippers. Derek Jones Jr., 9 points off the bench. Kawhi only 1 of 6 from 3, had a couple of open looks, especially during that stretch in the second half. It ends up being just that they hit 6 more threes than the Knicks in just a few more attempts than they did. That's all I really got about this game, people. I'm sure there'll be some frustration in the chat tonight. I'm here to answer your questions, to go through the supers. I'll hang out for a little bit. Obviously, we have a show we still have to do, but there is a reality that we're all going to have to accept over the next little bit. And it's that this isn't the fully optimized version of the 50-plus win team, or at least the fully available version. Let me restart that because I want to make sure I get this point out clear. There's a reality we have to accept, that this is not the 50-plus win team that some of us have come to enjoy this season. This is a very significantly shorthanded, handicapped version of that team. And it's going to take an all-hands-on-deck effort to make sure the ship doesn't completely sink until Jaylen Brunson comes back. I like that the shot distribution shows that everybody was going to have a hand in trying to come back, that this wasn't just, okay, Cat, take 30 shots and hopefully we have a chance to win. No, this was the entire starting five getting at least 12 shots up. And it's going to take a lot more than that. And it's going to take some efficient shooting on some of these nights as well to make sure we're not staring at a lost season because of a turned ankle.